email up. Something. Bam, we're live. Something weird's happening. I can't get into Instagram on using Chrome anymore. I get an error. I even erased all my cookies, which set all my other shit back.
I was having trouble with Facebook on there.
On Chrome.
Yeah,
When you
I don't
switched to
know.
Safari, did it get better?
I actually haven't tried Safari, so I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Instagram. I wonder if they're gonna make me log in again. Guys, good morning. Gabe Subry. Oh my goodness, I can't get into Instagram from Safari. Too many redirects trying to open. What is going on? It's so trippy what's going on with my Instagram now. Can you get to
Is it your
Instagram?
personal or?
Yeah, it's my personal.
Oh,
Google recommends using Chrome. Not right now, buddy. Not right now. Let me try one more thing here. Instagram. Oh, and now I can get in on Chrome and I can't get in on Safari. Amazing. I probably have to do the double authentication. Oh, no, I didn't even have to do the double authentication. Shit, I'm set. I'm set.
they
Gabe
just stole your
Subry's.
password.
Say that again?
Said they just stole your password.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just happy that I have access to Instagram in case I need it. I'm glad you're here today. Like you're
Me
here
too.
almost. You're. Oh, all the words hit a little more heavy when you're not in the good old USA. There's Gabe. Just chilling.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up,
Hey, Gabe.
dude?
How we doing?
Good. Gabe, do you sorry, Caleb, do you see a picture? Do you see a link to a picture? It says when I first met Gabe. It's at the very top of the notes. I think it is. I'm gonna open my notes right now.
The last time I saw Gabe.
No, not the last time. We'll get to that one too.
Oh,
Not that one. That though. So real quick. This is never mind. This is at the 10-year reunion. Gabe's gym, CrossFit 209. The 10-year reunion in 2019. So you're 13 years now, right, Gabe?
Yes, sir.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, it's gone by fast. That's for sure.
If you weren't running a CrossFit gym, what do you think you'd be doing?
Man, I don't know. I think about that all the time. The only job that seemed somewhat intriguing to me was a firefighting, but the biggest thing for me being a business owner in general is I just don't like being on anyone else's clock. So even that doesn't sound that great to me, but I don't know. I got a little bit of farming I've been doing. That's been enjoyable. You're outside. You kind of, are getting in tune with the seasons and all that kind of stuff. That's definitely fun. I could see myself doing that, but I don't know.
For those of you who don't know, is your gym in Stockton?
It's in Stockton, yeah.
So Stockton, California is what, 90 miles east of San Francisco?
Yeah.
More or less for people. So it's on the west coast of the United States, but it is a completely different scene than the rest of California. There's a highway that runs down California. I mean, you could say it's even, I was going to say the 5, but you could say it's even the 101. There's a swath of land all along the coast of the United States, along that edge in California, that as soon as you cross that highway, everything's different. Weather, the people, what people do for a living, and it's kind of an agricultural, not kind of, it's an agricultural empire. Is Stockton like that too? Do you guys have is it just a crazy agricultural area?
Tons of ag. Yeah, tons of ag. That's a major thing. I mean, all of the outskirts of towns are just grapes, walnuts, a lot of cherries, everything really.
And who lives there? Who are the people who live there? Is it a lot of Mexicans in Stockton?
I mean, it's pretty diverse. I mean, there's a lot of everything.
Are you born there?
Not born, but pretty much raised.
And where were you born?
In Fortuna.
Is that Southern California?
That's the northern, like by Eureka, Humboldt County, that kind of area.
Wow.
Way up north. Yeah.
So even though Stockton's not it's not a major metropolis, you're a small town guy who kind of moved to I mean, shit. It's weird to call Stockton a big town.
Yeah.
But you're a small town kid.
I mean, I didn't grow up there. I was probably, I don't know how old I was, but I was a baby when we moved here, so I don't remember any of it. But I actually grew up in Lodi, which is just north of Stockton, which is
home of Justin Medeiros, home of the Medeiros.
Yeah.
Crazy. He put Lodi on the map.
That's right.
Do you know him?
Yeah. He didn't train at our gym. He trained there for about a month or so when he was in high school. Do
you remember him?
Oh yeah, he was a monster. He came in. I mean, I was still competing. This is after my games days, so I was still at regionals, so I was still training competitively. And he was, on the up and coming, so he was trying to just mix it up and get in with some people that were throwing down. So he would come in, but I remember we did one set max rep back squat at 315. And I remember I'm getting fucking 20. I'm doing this shit and like belting up and just going for it. And I got 20 and was like folded by it. I mean, I was like pumped that I did it. And he came in, I mean, no knee sleeves, no belt, just pretty much raw, unracked it, did like 24, looked comfortable. Looked like he had 20 more in him and racked it. I think he was 16 at that time. And I remember being like, holy shit, this dude's on one for sure.
and you knew.
Yeah. I mean, you could just see, I mean, especially when you've been training people a long time, that's what you do. You can just tell there's something different, You've
been a trainer for over 20 years.
What's that?
You've been a trainer for over 20 years.
Yeah, about that. I'm 41 now. I started training when I was in college a little bit. And then when I got out of college, started doing it full time.
Crazy.
Yeah.
There was something different about you than the other games athletes. And correct me if I'm wrong. You were I mean, you were definitely cooler than all of them. They all seem like jocks. You just seem you were more like I don't know how I was gonna say more like a really buff surfer or
I was a skateboarder growing up. That was my whole life, surfer and skater. But
okay.
I mean, I would agree. All the guys were cool, but it seemed like that was what they did. That was it. That was the only thing that they did, which nothing wrong with that. But for me, it was like I did a lot of other shit and then started doing CrossFit, and I just liked doing it. And it was just like everything I do, I pretty much just go all in on it, try to be as good as I can at it. And then I didn't realize I was good until I qualified for that games that first year. I had no idea I was going to qualify. It wasn't necessarily the goal. It was just like went and watched the 2009 games and was like, that's badass. I got to get out there. So, back then there was no social media. There was no programming. There was CrossFit.com and that was it. So you had no idea what other people were doing. You had no idea how they were training or how fast they were doing workouts or what was even a good time. You were just like, it was just you and the people in your gym. And we had some pretty fit people in our gym. So, so I was just throwing down. And then next thing I knew, someone texted me that I think it was the 2010 sectionals. I think it was called then, the day before the last day, or the second day, after the second day. And they were like, hey, you're in fourth place right now, man. You're about to qualify. It was top 5. I was like, holy shit. And the next day went in and did it. And then from there, it was like, okay, I guess I'm not bad at this.
Did you ever give it? Here's one of the things about the bodies that were different too. Most of these guys have just crazy trunks. Like you think of someone like Noah Olson, right?
It's thick.
Yeah, and you just kept your body. You always looked. You had more. And I was gonna say more of a Ricky Garrard body, but even he's getting really thick in his trunk now too.
Sure.
You always kept more of that like beach body.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't any kind of intentional thing. It was just kind of, you just let whatever happens. I think now it's so fine tuned that you have to look at your build a little bit, because you have to be able to take the beat down and the weight and all that kind of stuff. Back then it was like, I'm eating paleo and we're running like crazy. And, hindsight now, I was probably under eating for sure. So I was definitely lean. I mean, I think I was 185 that first year. And I mean, I'm 205 now and feel, leanish and comfortable. And I feel way better overall, but I can't run and move and bounce around. And just, I just felt like I just had unlimited endurance back then. So at that leaner body, especially back then, because the weights weren't that heavy, I feel like being a little bit leaner was beneficial.
How tall are you?
5'9".
Yeah. It's right in that wheelhouse. It's funny. I always thought of you as taller.
Yeah. I mean, you get in the group of a bunch of guys that are 5'4", 5'5", and you're a handful of them at least, and all of a sudden 5'9", you're standing out a little bit, I guess.
Caleb, I put a bunch of links to I put 3 links to games. It says 3 times games competitor. Oh, there's 4 links. Could we look at those? What was your max back squat of all time, Gabe?
410.
410. Okay, and the other day you did 405.
Yep.
So you're still strong. There you are with Matt Chan, Rich Froning, and Kyle Kasperbauer.
Yep.
2012.
There's some good days.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at Matt Chan looking thick right there.
Thick. He was one of the first guys to really get like that, right? I mean, he kind of showed up like that, but his trunk was crazy.
Yeah, he had that kind of, not quite Khalipa build, but definitely just that big body for sure.
And you and Rich and Kyle, I mean, Kyle was a fucking cannonball.
Yeah.
But you guys were still more broader on the shoulders, and then kind of had that V shape to you still.
Sure.
Rich never got crazy thick in the core. He still isn't crazy thick in the core. He's
pretty much looked the same since the gets, from as far as I can see. I mean, I haven't seen him in person in a long time, but you see him on social media, it pretty much looks the same.
And here's a shot. One of my favorite pictures. I took this, actually, one of my favorite pictures of all time.
Yeah.
And there you are over there, getting at it. God, That's crazy. What's that guy's name from Australia who's really tall in the back? What was his name?
Chad McKay.
Yeah.
Chad McKay.
I think he was going to win the games that year he got injured. I really do.
Yeah, he was on a good tear there for a little while, and especially with that being taller, a lot of that stuff works against you. But I mean, you look at like Bukowski and some of these other guys are definitely getting it done. So.
And then the guy that's behind you and Kenny Leverich, is that the guy on the Pendleton run who had some sort of heat stroke and mental breakdown, and he thought like there were ghosts chasing him and shit? Do you remember that?
No,
and the ambulance had to take him away?
I don't remember who that is.
God, I wish I could remember who that is.
Yeah, that's the only guy.
And there's Miko Aranpa, fantastic athlete, but maybe one of the worst movers I ever saw in the games. Do you remember him?
Yeah. Yeah, I recognize all those guys' faces. That one guy, like you said, behind me, that's the only guy I don't remember his name.
And then you got Scott Panchek, who still getting it.
Yep.
And Ben Smith.
Ben Smith, still a beast. Kenny Leverich, I don't think he's doing much competitively. I haven't seen him in a long time either. But yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of guys from that era are still getting after it, whether they're competing or not. But yeah, that's what's crazy to me about Rich, is that he's competed this long and hasn't had any injuries or anything like that.
Well, I think he did have, I could be totally misspeaking here, but I think he had a shoulder surgery and a knee surgery.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he keeps that shit on the down low. I mean, he's not hiding it, but he's not out there.
He's not promoting it.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, he's still definitely a freak. Is there one more photo? It's like a post with like 3 photos. Oh yeah. Wow. Oh, I remember that workout right there with the deadlifts and that thing. That was one of the first workouts where they're like, "Uh-oh, was this over programmed?" Was it raining that day?
Yeah, it was raining. remember wrapping the towels over the pull-up bars. That was the 2009, I guess it was regionals, but that was the first. I probably was 3 or 4 months into CrossFit. I did my first overhead squat ever at the top of that hill.
No shit.
Yeah.
And those were those weights. Loved those weights. I don't know who made those, but they bounced amazingly. Do you remember those?
Yeah. Yeah. Super bouncy. I'd never even seen bumper plates at that point. So just that was crazy. You know, even before I got into CrossFit, I was more or less doing bodybuilding, but we always deadlifted and back squatted. So that type of stuff was at least something I was a little bit comfortable with.
I'd like to see a deadlift event on dirt like this coming in the future.
That was just raw. That's what made it fun. You were just in the mud for like
right.
thrusters on that hill, and
it's crazy.
That was fun.
Did you have kids then?
No, hell no. My kids are 4 and 2, so they're pretty young right now.
Did you want to have kids, Gabe, or were they an accident?
No, I wanted to have kids.
Yeah. Did you know you always wanted to have kids?
Oh yeah.
Your mom and dad stoked? Oh,
for sure. For sure. My sister doesn't have kids. She's older than me. And then I didn't have kids until 40 or 38. So I knew I wanted to have kids, but I just there's just a lot of shit that I wanted to do and travel wise and things like that. So I was just trying to stretch it out to the last second, make it and try to stay kidless as long as possible. But I love them. They're great. It's super fun. And we have 2 right now. I'm not necessarily planning on having more. I could have 4 or 5 kids. I love them, but I got to have some balance of getting back to, just things that I want to do myself personally and traveling and just stuff along those lines. And it's, with 2 kids it's tough to get 2 kids watched for a week, but to get 3 or 4 kids watched for a week, yeah, there's just no way.
And there it is. When I think of Stockton, that's kind of the scene I think of, just fences, and there's obviously some crop growing back there.
Sure.
And
yeah. So we live in it's called a Campo, which is north of Lodi. So you got Stockton and then Lodi, and then the next, it's just basically the country area of Lodi, So we live on a walnut orchard, and it's great for the kids because if you're looking at my Instagram, they're just out playing in the mud and just having fun running around the orchard and catching snakes and lizards, and it's primal, and it's away from a lot of the bullshit and away from the squares and the boxes and the concrete, and it's just more natural,
Is that walnut orchard yours?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I'm like a rookie farmer. I'm just kind of learning, but I have a partner. One of my good buddies has been farming his whole life, so he kind of handles all the management stuff. And I really don't do that much on it. I do the irrigating, and I might get out there and prune a little bit if I want to, but for the most part, it's just like an investment more or less.
Are you going to stick with walnuts?
The price is shit right now on them, but the trees are 5 years old, so they're just barely getting into their production. Their 8th leaf is when they're in full production, and you're planning for a 25-year yield. So hopefully the prices will turn around. It's like all time. Like my buddy's 52 years old, and he's been farming his whole life, and he's like never ever seen the prices this low. It's like
you need the
$1.50, $1.70 a pound. Now it's 60 cents a pound.
You need the dirt twirlers, the college kids, to get into a walnut milk.
Right.
I've never seen walnut milk, but you need something like that, right? You need like the World Economic Forum to say like, hey, instead of nuts are the future, we're going to fuel cars with it and feed all of humanity on it.
Yeah, it's got to be possible, right? Got to be possible.
I wonder. I'm trying to think. I have some family who lives in Fresno, and whenever they visit, they bring me shitloads of walnuts. Yeah. And I'm the only one in my family who eats them. My kids like cracking them open, but I'm the only one who eats them. No one else in my family likes them. They think like they're too bitter. But I wonder if there's some innovation there. I wonder what other shit can be done with walnuts. Cause I mean, that's what happened to almonds, right? Almond milk took off and and now they're just, everything in California is being torn out and almonds put in for the last, 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, yeah, I mean, you never know. You think it'd be possible, right? You wouldn't think you're getting milk from an almond in any way, but somehow it's happening, right? So
yeah,
why
I
not?
think basically they just soak the almonds in water, and that water is the almond milk. I think it's pretty.
Yeah,
it's kind of sloppy.
yeah. I mean, but I feel like almond milk's kind of sweet. They got to be sweetening it and putting something in it, right? I mean,
They definitely do something to it.
yeah.
My mom had purchased some oat milk and it said no sugar added, and then it was really sweet. I'm like, this is crazy. There's no way that oat milk could be this sweet. And then she looked it up and the label was misleading. And I don't know the chemistry of it, but they had put some enzyme in there that turned something in the oats into sugar.
Really?
And it was basically it made it bad for you.
Yeah.
It made it so, basically it's just
Sure.
it's just sugar. It's just drinking soda pop, but they call it oat milk and
Yeah.
all natural.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff that just has crazy sweetness to it. That you're like, where this sweetness is coming from something,
How big's the gym?
53,000, a little over 53.
I'm looking at Caleb's face. Caleb, did you hear that? 5,300 square
Wait.
feet. You have a 5,300 square feet.
50,000?
53,000, yeah.
Oh shit.
It's big.
That's massive. That's bigger than most people's houses.
It is so huge. When you run the parade, you can do laps inside, right? On a rainy day, you could run the inside, the perimeter on the inside, right?
The 200-meter track. 200-meter track, and then there's like 70-ish yards of turf, and then just, I mean, tons of open space, which is awesome. I mean, it's good, especially when the gym's really going off and the sport specific programs got a lot of kids in there, and the CrossFit classes are big, and it's really firing on all cylinders, and it's pretty cool.
When I visited,
that big?
Say that again.
How did you find the space that big?
It's a cannery. So my father-in-law owns this cannery. Yeah, and there's I think the whole warehouse is like 360,000 square feet. It's got a couple 80,000 square foot sections and a couple 50,000 give or take sections, and there was like, it was mostly empty. Now most of it's full, but at the time most of it was empty. And he was like, man, what do you think about renting this space and putting your gym in here? Our gym was 4,200 square feet at the time, so which was it was good size, but we were outgrowing it. And it was just like, this is just overwhelmingly huge, and the cost of the flooring and the equipment and all that. But, after a while, it was like Field of Dreams. It was like, all right, if you build it, they're going to come, right? So it just sack up, borrow a shitload of money, build that shit, and just go all in and make, put yourself in a situation where you have to make it happen.
When I visited in 2019 with Greg, for your 10-year anniversary, it was packed.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy. There in one section, even though there was a party going on in there was still shitloads of people working out in there. I mean, it was just, everything was going on in there, and organized as shit too. Yeah.
That's like our first gym would get so messy. That was a big concern, because it was like, man, people leave a band out. It's like, where you'll lose that shit. You're not gonna. It just gets sloppy. So, but it's a team effort, and it's kind of just, it's all about what you demand of the members, right? If you demand them to clean their shit and put it back and organize it, and that just becomes kind of the culture, then you feel bad if you're leaving stuff out. And the members we have are great, and they're as diverse and different as everyone is as individuals. Like, the support and just the way they take care of the gym for the most part is definitely cool.
53,000 square feet. Do other things happen in there besides your classes? Like, will the local PD be like, hey, Gabe, will you do a competition for us? Or, hey, we need a big venue to do. I mean, the high school football team will come visit, or what type of just shit happens in there when you have that much space? What opportunities open up?
We've had some stuff. We've done I don't remember exactly what it was. It was like this karate. One of our clients is like she was actually in the Olympics for karate. I think she's still doing it. She's a freaking badass. But she set this thing up, and it was like, I don't know exactly what it was. It was a tournament or whatever. But they brought in all the mats, and they covered a huge section with all these mats they brought in, and they did like this karate tournament, which was pretty cool. And then, we do we have it's called an Elevate program, which is basically our sports specific program. So that's part of the classes that we run, but they'll come in and do like 7-on-7 training and do like these lineman camps and and do all that kind of stuff in there. So that's probably the biggest thing. And, we've had a lot of inquiries to people that wanted to rent it out for whatever reason, but it's not really what I want to do with it. The thing is, like, you get people in there that don't train there, and they don't really respect it that much, so you're getting gum on the turf, and you're getting people tearing shit up, and you're getting people,
you've seen that? You've seen gum on the turf?
Oh yeah, it's like the worst. I mean, it's not. I mean, we try our best to do it, but you get gum on that thing, and it's in there. It's in there for good. But
is that part of the on-ramp? Hey, is that part of the on-ramp when someone comes new, you look them in the eyes and you're like, if you're going to come here, you have to treat this like your home. Would you spit gum on the floor?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, I mean, we don't do a technical on-ramp, but yeah, I mean, it's not like we don't sit them down, but definitely, especially with the Elevate program, which is the youth program, they're on the turf the most, so those guys are on them because it's younger kids, so you're talking 4 or 5 year olds up to, high school, college age. So, I mean, at that age, you're a little bit less respectful for things. You don't really look at something and being like, damn, this turf's probably really expensive, and if I spit gum on it, it's not coming out, so they stay on them pretty hard. But I mean, there's a little bit of damage to it, but it's not bad. We keep it pretty good.
If you're leaving the gym and then you look as you're locking the door, you look back in and like you realize you left your keys in the office, or that there was like one light still on, it's like a trek. It's like, oh shit.
Oh, you're walking. Since I moved in there, my steps I never really track my steps, but my wife like showed me on my phone how to do it. And, yeah, the steps are crazy because just from coaching a class, you got to walk from one side to the other, and it's whatever, and but you're doing it all day, so you're just walking all over the place. But yeah, if you're, especially if we're doing a workout that's on the turf, so you walk to the turf, which is the back side of the gym, and then you're walking back to the front for the next class to do whatever the first portion is, and so, but pretty much used to it now.
Your kids are raised in there? Your kids know the gym?
Yeah, pretty much. They love going in there. They love it. Just a huge playground for them, really.
Yeah. Are you there now?
No, this is my house. This is like a little gym that I have in my house. I'll show you. This is pretty cool right here.
Yeah, it looks more than a little gym. Oh, wow. Wow. What's up with the skateboard collection? Have those all been ridden?
No, I mean, a couple of them, but they're just boards that I liked or that I rode when I was young, and just I started with a couple, and then just started growing. Before we moved out here, I probably had 30 or 40, and then we moved out here and built this shop, and then I just built this wall to just kind of hang all these things. Is that
a little quarter pipe down there too?
Yeah. There's a ramp there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Just a little something.
Oh, yeah. Hey, if your kids get into skateboarding, they're going to demand a half pipe in there.
I know. I'll get them one in a heartbeat. I bought my quarter pipe for myself, but I was like, they kind of start messing around with it a little bit. you know, like they'll lay on their stomach and I'll put them in there in that little. We'll put those two quarter pipes together and just kind of push them back and forth, and they love it.
How about that basketball game thing there? Where'd you get that? Do you kids? I was thinking about get one of those for my kids. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but do they use that? I guess your kids are a little young. You said 4 and 2.
Yeah, I mean they'll just kind of throw the balls on it, but they're not really shooting on it just yet. It's called a Papa Shot. I'll show it to you. It's pretty cool. It's definitely fun.
Gabe, how many coaches do you have at the gym?
It's got this thing here.
Oh yeah, I need one of those.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. Hey, how old are your kids?
5, 5, and 8.
Oh yeah, they'd be all over it.
I just got a basketball hoop in my front yard, and they just love it. It's like they play with it every single day. I'm actually surprised how much they play with it.
Yeah, definitely get them going on something. It's definitely fun.
How many coaches do you have at the gym?
Myself, got Vince, who does a couple classes, and then Vince is my partner I've been with since the very beginning, and then I got pretty much one main coach, Mason, and then a couple subs, couple people that coach maybe 1 or 2 classes a week, and then just kind of sub in here and there. But for the most part, myself and Mason do majority of the CrossFit classes. Vince does a few. Vince runs the Elevate program.
Are you happy that you have a partner? Is there any party that's like, damn, I shouldn't have had a partner?
No. I mean, so Vince was my partner. Like in the initial gym, we were partners. We started it together, and then when we started, when we opened this gym, it was kind of like I'm going to do it on my own, but I want you to come with me and continue to just, you know, our fitness journey, you know, together. So he's not, you know, my on paper partner as far as like all the gym stuff goes, but he's my partner. We do our grind together, and you know, so he's, you know, like I said, we started. I didn't want to split ways when I was going with this big gym, but at the same time, it was like it's like if you're doing something on your own, then it's on you to make it be successful or to fail, you know. And with the amount of money I was having to borrow for that, I was like, I just want to put it on myself. I don't want to. It might be too stressful. You never know what could happen. I'd rather just put it all on myself and just figure it out from there. But I didn't want to abandon him. I wanted him to come with me. I wanted him to continue. So
he's more like your ride or die. He's more like, and you show him respect by calling him your partner.
For sure. I mean, he is my partner. You know, like I said, we started it, but yeah, I mean, like on the paper, on the business side of it, he's not.
If they foreclose on your gym, they come after you, not him.
They're coming after me, yeah. But like I said, we've been grinding together for so long, and I mean, it's tough to say, and we have a unique dynamic. I'm sure every partnership does, and there's been like hard parts of it for sure, and button heads on things for sure. But I mean, for the most part, it just works. It just works. You got to be kind of, you know, laid back in a sense, because everyone's got different opinions and different, you know, ideas of ways to run things and stuff like that. But it's pretty cool because he does mostly the Elevate and I do the CrossFit. So it's like, that's kind of his realm, and he loves it. And he does all these 7-on-7 leagues, and he's super into it. And he's going to games, and he's talking to parents, and he's getting them to bring their kids in. So, and he loves doing that. And like, I personally don't want to go do all that. So it's great that he is doing that, you know. And then I'm more into the CrossFit side and, you know, weightlifting side and like all that kind of stuff. So it's a good.
Hey, is that basketball machine still on? Could you go kick it?
Yeah. You hear it still?
Yeah. Sorry. After I asked you to turn it on, then I'm like, hey, it's making too much noise. Sounded like there was a party there. 53,000 square feet.
Wonder how big his garage is if that's 53,000 square feet.
You mean just where he's sitting right now?
Yeah.
His man cave? That thing looks like it's as big as
More
a
like
gym.
a man house. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Gabe, can you kind of walk me through how you found CrossFit, and then what kind, are you still on the seminar, and you were on seminar staff?
Yeah, I was. When I had my son, I stopped doing it.
Crazy. So you've done it all. You own an affiliate, you've been on seminar staff, and you've been to the games.
Yeah, that's a good little CrossFit trio for sure.
And you made it over the 10-year mark.
Yeah. Yep.
Have you ever thought about not affiliating? Have you ever thought, oh, I could save this money, I could buy one new tire for one of my trucks?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everyone's thought of it. I've never really seriously considered it. I mean, I'm kind of like, I'm the number one, whether you de-affiliate or whatever, you're doing CrossFit. So give credit where credit's due, right? It's CrossFit. Like that's why you started. That's what you're doing. You know, if you want to save the affiliate fee and call it whatever you're going to call it, it's still CrossFit. So give credit where credit's due. You know, my like only like, if there's any downside to being affiliated, it's that a lot of CrossFit gyms are just breaking people down and they're not coaching people, and they're, you know, so CrossFit gets this it's going to hurt you, you know, rap, which sometimes you have to, you know, when you meet someone, you're already having to defend yourself that you're not going to hurt them, you know. So that's the only negative thing of it. But I think that at the time right now, and it's in the last 13 years, it hasn't been anything that's going to be major, you know, like we don't have a problem getting people in. But a lot of people, especially older people, you tell them about CrossFit and that's their first, oh, I got bad knees, I got a bad back. And I'm like, that's exactly why you should be doing this, because we've been fixing knees and backs for 13 years, you know. But I think a lot of CrossFit gyms don't coach and hold people accountable to good form, you know, relentlessly hold people accountable to good form at all times. You know, if you do CrossFit with shit form, you probably will get hurt. And so if someone's been going to a CrossFit gym that's not holding them accountable for good positions and good form, and letting them, you know, making sure they're training within the realm of what they're capable of, and they're getting hurt, then maybe they did get hurt doing CrossFit. To me, I would say that's not necessarily what CrossFit is. It's, you know, and that seems like it's become like a minor difference, where to me it seems like it's a major difference. You know, if you're letting your back round even slightly when you're lifting, you know, for your average person, or especially someone who's getting older, you know, if you're outside your 20s, that's going to be a deal breaker at some point. You're going to get hurt, you know, if you keep your position good and you're holding, you know, you're holding your training within the realm what you can do, and lifting with what you can do correctly, then it's going to be great. Your knees are going to feel good, your back's going to feel good. It's going to make you as injury proof as you can be, you know.
Are you injury free?
I don't have any major things. My biggest thing is probably my neck, and I had MRIs and all that, and they said there was no bulged disc. I'd imagine there's some kind of bulged disc in there, and it's really not. It's not an issue, but it'll aggravate me sometimes if I'm not smart with my training. But it was just kind of it was one of those things you just gotta learn how to listen to your body a little bit, you know.
How do you think you did it?
It's tough to say. I didn't do anything what really sent it over the edge. I fell asleep. We were coming back from Italy, and I fell asleep on a plane with my head back. And when I woke up, it was it just felt kind of weird. And then I was noticing that, you know, if I got in a push-up position, one of my shoulder blades wouldn't engage. It would just kind of sink back. And it was like, okay, this is weird. Or if I hung from a pull-up bar and did a pull-up, I would go to one side. So it was so I did all these tests and went to the neurologist and got to the MRIs and yada, yada, and did the whole thing. And ultimately they were like, you have extreme inflammation of the brachial plexus, which is a nerve system in your neck. So I guess it's pinching that and shutting off the activation to that shoulder blade and that kind of scap area. But it's weird. It's weird. The only things that will really, really aggravate it is running and high rep double unders, any kind of bouncing stuff, which seems strange.
Interesting.
I can do handstands and you know, things that you know, heavy overhead lifting, and it's fine. But I mean, even the running and double unders are fine. I can do them. But if I run mileage week after week after week, the tension will just kind of build and build and build, and eventually it'll get to the point where it just feels like it's locked up. But I mean, it's been years since it's gotten there. Like I said, as you kind of learn what your body can do, and now I feel like I don't have to modify my training really at all. But when I was trying to compete, I would run a lot because that was my best conditioning, and I had to stop the amount of running that I was doing. That's for sure.
I went to the beach a couple months ago with a friend of mine, this Hunter McIntyre and Andrew Hiller, and we were probably only like in 3 feet of water, 4 feet of water, and I had been drinking. I don't know what I was thinking. And they're like, "Hey, we're going to throw you up in the air as high as we can." I'm like, "Okay." So they locked their arms, and I sat there, and they threw me in the air. And then I was so high in the air that I, like, mid-flight, I just turned into a dive to dive in and fucking landed on my head. Dude, I'm lucky I didn't die.
Just
Dude, there was a guy that did that recently, and he's paralyzed from the waist down.
Where you're at? Where you're deployed?
No, back home.
Oh, yeah, I'm so lucky. My neck's been fucked up for like 2 months. It's finally just getting better. Don't jump in the shallow end, kids. Don't drink and swim. That drink and drive shit's like, okay, fine, but don't drink and swim.
Yeah. It's funny. You do all the shit that you've done, and then it's some dumb shit like that ends up messing you up,
Yeah, and those two young guys shouldn't have been throwing a 50-year-old little dude in the air. Fuck those guys.
Like, we got this. It's all good. All fun and games.
I at least wish someone would have filmed it so I could have gotten like some social media off of it.
Right.
So tell me, tell me how your paths crossed with CrossFit, and then how you decided to open an affiliate.
So I was just personal training at like a private studio, and I would always look for just different. I'd always go on like YouTube and just look for different, workouts or just different movements. I came from like a bodybuilding background, so that's what I would do with my clients. But the more I did that,
2008. What year is that you're talking?
8, yeah,
okay.
Or 2008. So probably the end of 2008. So yeah, I would go on YouTube and just look for different movements. It was like this lady who's 50 years old is trying to lose weight, probably doesn't need to be doing bicep curls, So it's like I need to learn some different stuff to do. So I'd go on there and learn, or just find different little whatever, just stupid little movements or plyometric things, or just kind of more, just something different, just to change it up. And I remember, I think it was like a Fight Gone Bad video or something, stumbled across some CrossFit video and started watching it and was like, wow, look at these, like those like wall balls and kettlebell swings. I've never seen any of this shit. And I was like, wow, this is different. This is cool. And then so at some point learned that CrossFit was this thing. So then we started YouTubing just the word CrossFit and looking that up, and then it was like, once you did that, there was a whole bunch of videos. And then that kind of turned us on to CrossFit.com, and which they had tons of videos on there. I mean, and I literally watched every single video that was on there. I was just like obsessed with it. It was just so cool. And the more I learned, the more it made sense. Everything that I had been doing was kind of like, okay, workouts, let's make them hard. Let's make them hard. Let's make people sweat. Let's make people work, which was a part of it. But it was like, well, what's the point? There has to be, it has to make sense on all levels. And CrossFit was the first thing that made sense, right? It's function. It's the balance of function. It's building up all these different aspects of fitness, and anyone can do it. And it's tailorable to anyone's ability. So I'm like, man, this is the only one that makes sense, where anyone could ask you, why are you doing that? And you could have an answer for it, So that was 2008. And then started incorporating it more with the members. And then by 2009, I guess, it was like we were doing CrossFit. We were like, we're going to do CrossFit with everyone now. And then we opened our affiliate in late 2009.
Was that a hard decision, or you just were like, you by then you were just fully in love with it?
I was fully in love with it. And honestly, it was like, it was like, this is it. Like, this is going somewhere. This is about to be big. It's kind of like what I was in my mindset. I was like, I know it'd already been around for a while, but it was, there was no CrossFit. I think the closest one was in Sacramento, and it was just like, man, this is going to be something. Like, this is going to be a big thing pretty soon, I bet. Like we should open it right now. We'll be the first one around here, and even if it doesn't become something big, whatever, people are loving it. People are getting great results from it. No one else is doing it. So
did you see your body composition change?
Yeah, I mean, not drastically. I mean, I started training, bodybuilding style training when I was probably 13, and I was pretty consistent about it. I was super into that for a long time, from 18 to I think I was 28 when I got into CrossFit. I mean, I was hardcore into it. I ate very healthy and I trained super hard and I learned it, and I was good at it. So I was already fit. I was already muscular, and I was playing. I played a lot of soccer, so I was running a lot. So I kind of had a little bit of a balance already going there. So yeah, my physique didn't change drastically by any means. It was more just like the fitness, the capabilities. Learn how to do. I mean, kicking up and do a handstand, right? Trying to teach myself how to snatch and Olympic lift and really do it all. I mean, I never got coached. The first CrossFit gym I ever went to was my level 1. And then the next one that I ever went to was the one that we opened. So never really got the being coached and going to a CrossFit gym and like that, and that side of it. I pretty much just watched YouTube videos and tried to figure it all out. So
you never belonged to an affiliate?
Never.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Gabe is talking about an era when all the CrossFitters, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gabe, at 4:50 every day, we were prepping.
Right.
Because in 10 minutes, there was going to be a new post.
Yep. And
there wouldn't always be a video, but you would hope there was a video. And you were just dying to see what the workout of the day was. I'm guessing you were part of that. That's that era.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I watched every video and article and anything that was on CrossFit.com. I mean, if they posted a new video and there was a video link, and I want to say there was hundreds of videos in there, but I would be like, oh, this was a new one here. It's whatever it is, it's a video of this person doing was OPT doing a sub 6-minute Helen or whatever, it's all these videos of Pat Barber and Boz and all this shit, so yeah, it was definitely different. And like I said, there was I think there was like, I don't know if it was MySpace or Facebook, but there was like some level of social media, but not like there is now. So other people were doing really.
.com was the place.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it was such a basic website. It was awesome. I liked the old website. I mean, the new one, I realized they got to go to it, but
I don't think they have to. I like the old website too. I think we should have stuck with it. I bet you Greg would agree with you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Just super basic and simple, but it's like that was kind of that was like what CrossFit was. It was just raw. It was like, you give a fuck what you think and whatever, and here's the data, and here it is. This is what's going to make you fit. And if you want to argue it, let's argue it. There's not really much debate on it.
So you open the gym, and at what point do you think, oh, I'm gonna apply for seminar staff? And can you tell us about that journey?
Yeah. So opened the gym 2009. I think I got on seminar staff. I guess that would be 2013-ish, somewhere around there. So Dave Castro had reached out to me and it like invited me to interview or to try out for the level 1 staff. And at the time I was like, I don't know, it sounds cool, but I don't know if I want to spend my weekends doing that. And so I can't remember exactly how it went, but I didn't take it right away. And he was like, oh, if you change your mind, just reach out. So I don't think it was too long. Maybe it was probably within a year. It was just something I wanted to do. I didn't need the money. It just seemed cool. And it just seemed like something that would be fun and to get in there with all these other people that, like Boz and Pat and all these other people, that had been like these OGs that were on the staff. And it's like, man, this would be a really cool thing to be a part of. So, so yeah, I called him up and told him I was interested and went through the interview process or the intern process, did that, got on staff. And then it was great. I loved it. It was awesome. It was just like, as someone who coaches Monday through Friday, and then to leave Friday, get on a plane, go teach all weekend, and then get on a plane Sunday, come home and go right back to coaching. It was just a lot. And like, it was cool when I was, when I was single, or at least before we were married. And then once we got married, it was like not that bad, because I wasn't doing that many. I'd probably do at the most 1 to 2 a month, but I was probably like a once a monther. And then that would probably became like once every month and a half or 2 months. And then once I had my son, I was like, I just can't justify being away on the weekend, because I'm gone. That's really the main time that I see him, but it was super fun. I mean, I still miss it to this day, and it was really cool to be a part of that. And like, the travel sucked, but once you were there and everyone's all fired up with the level 1 and they're learning this stuff for the first time, it was definitely fun. And you see people that you haven't seen for a while, and it was like you do the summit, the annual summit, and see all the other trainers from all over the world that you either hadn't met or you just hadn't seen for years. So that was always fun to be a part of it.
It's a special team, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
a lot.
Did you ever think you weren't worthy? I mean, I would think that everyone who's part of that team is like, holy shit, everywhere you look, these are all world-class trainers.
And you listen, you listen to, especially when you're new and you're sitting down and listening to Boz lecture, or I mean, really any of these guys that have been on the staff for a while. You're listening to Zach Pine. He's drawing all these badass little drawings, and then you work with Chuck Carswell for a few times, and you're like, fuck, I thought I was knowledgeable. I don't know shit, So it kind of like, I mean, every single level 1 that I taught, I learned a lot just by listening to the lectures. I thought I really enjoyed just that part of it, But as I got more comfortable with the lectures and just delivering the content the way they want it to be delivered, it was like, especially once I was getting into it for a little bit, then I was feeling more confident with what I was doing, or I'd give a lecture and be like, I fucking killed that lecture right there. Hell yeah, that was good. That was like, got all the info in, got people laughing. And so, yeah, I mean, but it's all relative. And you start talking to some people that just have this wealth of knowledge and know all the sciencey stuff behind it. I never really was that knowledgeable on that type of stuff. So, but it was always just fascinating to learn and listen to other people's, versions of the same lecture that you're giving,
In around 2016, Greg gave this mandate to make sure that, not switch, but to emphasize that anyone should take the L1. That you don't need to be a CrossFitter, you don't need to have ever done CrossFit, you don't need to be fit, you have to get in there, and that's the operating manual for the human genome. And we worked hard to and basically it's the inoculation for chronic disease, right? You
Sure.
take this 2-day course, and now you have the tools, knowing what to eat, how to move, and you can share it to, keep you out of the hospital. We all know the number, it's everywhere these days. 86% of all healthcare expenditure is in the United States is spent on people who've made bad lifestyle decisions. And by that, I mean what they put in their mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I think that, I mean, it's a perfectly written seminar for everything that you just described. It's the manual, right? Like, hey, if you really don't need to learn any more than just this. If you really learn it, to even if you just learn it enough to pass the test, even if you just learn it a little bit. But I mean, obviously, people need to learn how to take care of themselves, right? Like, that should be something, it should be important. So whether it's the CrossFit level 1, which is already there, it's already written, it's already been done, or something, or if it's just another class that you take, you got history, and then your next class is how to take care of yourself or how to eat properly. I mean, it seems like it would be, I mean, it seems like it would just be a part of upbringing, of just learning, okay, what's the point of school and what's the point of all this? You're trying to educate yourself on where we've been, where we're going, and all this, how to interact with people and how to become successful. But, you know, part of being successful is learning how to take care of yourself, right? Like you see these like rich guys that have very successful in business or whatever they're doing, but they got a belly and they're just out of shape and they feel like shit and they can't have sex, their dick doesn't work. And like, I mean, I'm like, well, that sucks. Like, how, you know, you got a lot of money, but your quality of life doesn't sound like it's that great, you know? And it's like, if you just work out and eat even remotely healthy, you can fix a lot of that.
This is harsh to say, but I mean, I guess I've said it a bunch of times, so it doesn't matter if I say it again. Especially if you have kids. If you have kids and you haven't taken your L1, there's basically there's so much in there that you can use to raise your kids. So, for example, you learn how to feed them, you learn how to move, but we learn in the L1 that through struggle you get adaptation.
Sure.
And so many parents want to protect their kids, and all they're doing is stealing adaptation from them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the hump is to get past, you know, if you don't do CrossFit, that's going to be a hard sale, right? To get someone to go and do their level 1, like as much as it's going to benefit them to actually get someone to go and do it. Cause I mean, it's, you know,
I know they're intimidated. They think it's $1,000, all this stuff, but
sure.
It's a myth. It's a myth. It's just say that again.
The intimidation.
Well, just it's okay to be intimidated, but anyone can go there, and after those 2 days, like 99% of the people, you will leave there, even if you've never done CrossFit and you still don't want to do it. You'll be like, holy shit, these may have been the 2 best days of my entire educational fucking life, and 100%. It will change your life forever. There'll be stuff you'll learn in there, and you'll share. And if you have kids and you don't do that, it's mind-boggling to me. Once you know that, if you have kids, you don't go out of your way to do that just so that you can impart that information onto them.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean,
it's like teaching your kids how to swim. You teach your kids how to wash their hands and how to wipe their ass.
Sure.
I mean, but if you eat like shit, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's the craziest thing. That's for sure. That's the eating and I mean, everyone's free to make their own decisions, right? But it's to take care of yourself and do things that are going to make you last long and live and have a good quality life, so that you can do all the other shit that is important, right? That should be at the top of your importance. And then obviously, like you said, just like washing your hands and you know, having good manners and saying please and thank you. You're trying to teach your kids how to be respectable and how to be good citizens and how to take care of themselves, and that it should be all part of it, you know? I mean, when I was young, my parents never told me how to eat, but they were relatively healthy, and we didn't have soda, and we didn't, like, if we went and got fast food, that was like a major treat. You know, we didn't really have shitty cereal or any majorly crappy food. So that was, and I hated it, but that's just how I was raised. So it didn't seem that hard. But it's like when you drink soda your whole life as a kid, and then you're 40 and you're like, hey, I need to start drinking some water because I'm having some health problems. It's probably pretty hard at that point, you know? So it's like, it's worth the effort to do it. And I work with people every day, and that's what they're trying to do. And it's like, and in my head, it's like, man, this is crazy that you're having this hard of a time as something as simple as just drinking water or whatever it is. But it's like, you got to start from when they're young, and it just has to be the norm. It should be the norm. It's weird that it's not.
Hey, how about half the country? I hate to beat a dead horse, but half the country doesn't even know. So my parents tried to raise me healthy too, but there was still but people didn't know what healthy was. A lot of people didn't know what healthy was. Like, so as long as it said non-fat on it, my mom would buy it. You know what I mean? thank God I was raised in an Armenian household. So we had a lot of like the original ethnic foods that were healthy for you. But like I would get like non-fat Ritz crackers. Wasn't allowed to drink Coca-Cola, or we would eat cereal if it said healthy on it. You know what I mean? So at least they were on the right track, but there's half the country. They made fun of that CNN host, Chris Cuomo, even though he's a complete D-bag. They made fun of him for working out during COVID. That lady Marjorie Taylor Greene, half the country who owned the CrossFit gym, who's the right wing lady. They made fun of her when she said CrossFit's the cure, the hedge against COVID. They actually made fun of the people who had the best solution, and so it's like half the country still doesn't know. Yeah, this guy. They were making fun of him because he would post. He was one of the main anchors on CNN. He got fired for, I think, touching girls or something. But it's like, why are we making fun of? It's bizarre to make fun of healthy people who are actually helping you prolong and increase the quality of your life.
Yeah, that's it's a mystery. I mean, I think
it's a defense mechanism, right?
Sure. I mean, it seems like fit people are by majority the minority, right? Like there's a lot more people out of shape and unfit. And I think what CrossFit and the diet prescription and the exercise prescription that we're promoting as the solution feels like such an attack on their personal lifestyle that have to deflect it or just try to degrade it or just pretend like it's not even there. And it's like, it's very strange, it's very weird. And it'd be great to get to a place where it's like, hey, if you decide to eat like shit and be overweight and be obese and die from that, and that's your decision, that's great. But you can't pretend like that's not exactly what you're doing, and don't try to promote it like it's the norm. It shouldn't be the norm. That should be like, it's weird because I mean, it's a world thing, right? But you go to other countries and you don't see obese people like you do here, and you definitely don't see it just as a normal thing, so
especially the poor countries, ironically, right? They're not filled with McDonald's and Starbucks. And
no, I mean,
you ever go to Starbucks?
I mean, yeah, I've been there. I'd pretty much make coffee at home, but yeah.
And then you're waiting for your coffee to come out, and there's just fucking 40 drinks there that are 2,200 calories a pop, ventis, and they got the lid on them that holds the whipped cream, and you're just seeing a parade of fucking people pick them up, and you're like, yeah, and you just look at them, and you're like,
yeah, like
they're like one eye's looking the wrong way, their kid's 100 pounds overweight, like you just see, oh my God, these people are just on a suicide mission.
Sure, yeah, I mean, it's people are just oblivious, and I don't think people want to learn. I mean, some do, I guess, maybe, and that's where they go seeking.
I think they do. I think they're drug addicts, Gabe. I think they're refined carbohydrate addicts.
I mean, it's definitely an addiction. It's just.
I used to drink that shit. That shit was hard to break. You get in the habit of drinking a sweet drink. I used to put sugar in my coffee. I can't even believe it, like a lot. But they were the little brown bags, so they were healthy.
Right.
You remember those?
Raw sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people at this point, I think, are just they're just going to follow the mainstream, and it'd be great to see. It'd be great to see just be real, just right. Like, just put it out there and let people know. And it should be something that, like I was saying earlier, should be taught at a young age, and it should be, a course in school, and you should be talking about nutrition, or at least the very basics of it, at least the very basics to understand how horrible drinking soda is for you, if that's what your main go-to drink is, right? Or any of that stuff, really. It's like you should at least be able to understand that. It's like, I don't think anyone who's done heroin had any misconception that this is not unhealthy for me, right? They're probably like, who knows? To me, it's like mind blowing. Like, how do you try heroin for the first time? But people are doing it all the time, but I don't think they're, it's like you've been told your whole life, like these are bad drugs. This is, look, this is what you're going to become. You're going to be this bum on the side of the road. It's all sucked up and, it's just laying there. It looks like he's dead. I'm like, all right, everyone's seen that. Everyone's been told that their whole lives. So whether, and they still might, people are obviously still
wow. That's a great point.
Yeah.
I would have tried it when I was 16 or maybe not 16, probably in my early 20s, I would have tried it. And you're right. There couldn't be any more messaging saying that there's anything worse than you, and yet people still do it.
Yeah, but I mean, at least there's an attempt there. At least you're aware of what it is, right? It's like it's not just like, what's this? It gets you high. Like, I like getting high. Let's try it. Like, you're like, no, it's heroin. Everyone who does heroin is fucked, right? Like, there's no like,
right.
You're not just casually doing heroin on the weekends with your buddies, like. Everyone I know who's done it, they're pretty much, that's what they do. They're in it, right?
They're professional. While you're coaching, they're looking for a fix.
Yeah. And
hey, there's a professor at Harvard who says it's okay to be a casual heroin user. It's fucking nuts.
Really?
By the way, that's the same misconception that people think it's okay to give your 1.5-year-old baby a lick of your ice cream. It is not. Wait till their fucking 5th birthday. Dude, why are you letting them eat ice cream at 1.5 and get that first crazy taste? Have you seen these reaction videos of babies who eat ice cream? It's nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, their eyes fucking pop out of their head.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like, just hold off, man. Why are you? They're so young and impressionable. Hold off.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's crazy. I mean, my kids don't really get much of that shit, anyways. But. And it's kind of like the iPad thing too. When they do get a taste of it, their reaction to it is so crazy that it's like, this is something different. Like it's literally like a drug. You start giving them the iPad. We don't give our kids iPads that much. I mean, we do here and there, but man, when you do, they're like freaking glued to it, like crazy.
Look at this guy, Carl Hart. Neuroscience at Columbia Field. Go up to the top. I want to read the headline. Listen to this guy. This heroin using professor wants to change how we think about drugs. We have miseducated the public. I bet you $1,000 he believes in critical race theory. Holy shit. Look at this. This guy, John Clark, said, he said, why would you waste your substance on an interview? You have to concentrate and fuck this guy. It's just, I'm sorry I brought him up. Sevan, that was my childhood. I was 366 pounds by the time I was 18. This guy, John Clark. Wow.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
I mean, people will say
that's huge.
I mean, who knows, right? Everyone, who knows? Maybe you can do heroin once a week and be fine, but I wouldn't suggest that as like a.
You could lie to yourself about it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems strange.
I know they're starting to use it for like treatment on PTSD and stuff like that, and just like microdosing shrooms and stuff. But I don't know the addictive properties of that stuff either.
I think, and I think that some of the psychedelics have a lot of like, definitely more so than heroin, but a positive. I mean, especially as a alternative to some pharmaceutical, and I don't know.
Yeah, opiates are a massive problem.
Yeah, I know, and it's not addictive, right? And I've had a lot of people at the gym that have gone and done these like ayahuasca things, and 100% of them have had a positive experience. They don't want to go do it again. It's not something they need to do on a regular basis, but the breakthrough that they're having mentally from that, and where your mind can go and be a little more raw, a little more real with what's going on deep down inside of you. They've all had positive stuff to say about it.
Do you watch the UFC?
Yeah.
Do you know this guy who popped on the scene? Yuri Prochaska. He beat Glover Teixeira. Remember the light heavyweight fight a couple weeks ago? Glover Teixeira was winning, and then in the 5th round, he lost with like 15 seconds left. He's the guy with the ponytail on the top. He looks like a samurai.
Gotcha.
Jiri Prochaska. No. Anyway, the other day, Gabe, he released a video where he talks about how he went into a dark room and just sat there for fucking 3 days and didn't eat anything, only had water. And for all the people who do ayahuasca, part of me wants to say, why don't you try that first? You know,
Yeah.
like it's still the I still feel, and I'm not hating on them, but it still feels like the quick fix. And I like the feedback you gave on it. Yeah, the people who've done it have done it once and they had great results. And I know shitloads of people who think they've had great results from it too. But man, it's just spending some alone time. Walk out in the walnut orchard.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bigger picture there is I mean, hey, if it helps, it helps, right? And if it doesn't create anything that's unhealthy for you, and if it doesn't create any kind of addiction, then
You don't lose your job. You still take care of your kids.
to each their own, right? But I mean,
Right. Fair.
I think you know, prior to all that, and really the bigger picture stuff is, yeah, you got to have some balance in life. And I think people are so like this in this, like, you have to work and they have to do all this shit, and it's like just live like a natural human being. Yeah, like you said, get out in nature and do more primal shit, you know, do more things that scare you, get outside your comfort zone and have some internal growth there, you know. And there's a lot of benefit there, I think. You know, I mean, a lot of people, like, it's just like the fitness thing. They want to stay in their bubble, and there's no growth there. And I think that's where people start to go crazy, and they're getting anxiety, and they don't know where to look, and they don't know what to do. So they're looking for these other solutions and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, like I said,
this guy out says, or this girl, I'm a high-strung individual that likes a little weed and then some weightlifting. Is that bad for me? The part that's bad for you is the part where you say I'm a high-strung individual. Just drop that part of the story, and then you're good to go. Just let that part go.
Yeah.
Just stop telling yourself that story. Gabe, I had a guy on here the other day, Ricard Long, which was funny because we had a typo in his name, and we had Rock Hard Long. And I was really wishing that was his name, but it was actually because the I and the O on the keyboard are right next to each other.
Yeah.
So when we had announced him as Rock Hard Long, and I was so excited to make fun of him, but his name is Ricard. But he's an affiliate owner in Berlin, and he was, I don't want to mischaracterize him, but he's basically saying that his gym is not a games gym for games athletes. And if anyone goes through your Instagram, they can see that you celebrate a lot of clients who are clearly not games athletes, people who have just embarked on the journey to change their life. And when you talked about being on seminar staff, one of the highlights you said was seeing people learn, that you loved seeing like the light bulb go off in people, and people like learn new shit. But you also have had games athletes come out, you know, Garrett Fisher, Lauren Fisher, yourself. Do you pigeon yourself? God, that gym is huge. Look at that rack. I've never used that before that way. Look at that rack. That was weird to say it like that. Do you ever, are you a games gym, or are you a health gym?
Yeah, I mean,
or is it yes?
At the 10-year affiliate thing in Whistler, I was talking to a couple of affiliate, or one guy specifically that was saying that they like kicked out all their competitive athletes because they didn't want to, whatever. I don't know if it was intimidate, you know, your average person or the older people. And to me, that just seemed insane. And it seems
insane to me too. Seems insane to me too.
It seems like it'd be almost the same as kicking out the older people or kicking out the bigger people. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why not? You know, like, that's what this whole thing is about. We can take someone who's 500 pounds that's never worked out a day in their life, and they can work out with a person right next to them doing the exact same workout that's going to make a run at the games this year. And it's going to be tailored to their ability, but the way they're going to feel will be similar. They're both going to work hard. They're both going to breathe hard. It's going to be the same time domain. They're doing, you know, they might be doing minor modifications in movements, but the function of the movement, we're pulling or we're squatting or we're pushing or whatever, all that's going to be the same. And like, that to me is what CrossFit really is. And when I look at a class of people, of 10, 15 people or whatever it is, and you see everything from the guy doing the muscle ups to the lady doing, seated ring rows. And I'm like, okay, well, they're doing the same workout. It's just tailored to what their ability is. And that's what this whole thing is. That's what I try hard to promote on the page is like, look, it doesn't matter if you want to get better. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're already a games competitor and you want to get better, we'll make you better. If you've never lifted a thing in your life, you've never exercised, you have tons of weight to lose, we're going to make you better. And that's what it's all about. And that's what it is for the individual. It doesn't matter who you are. It's no less or more important to the games competitor getting better as it is to the overweight person that's trying to get better. You want to improve. Everyone wants to improve. They want to see improvement. So this is the program. It's a one size fits all program. We're going to customize it to your ability, but you're still doing the program. You're still doing the same workout.
What's the key to retention? How do you keep, how have you stuck around so long? How do you keep clients?
I think it's just, you got to go one, take care of them, right? Like if they just come in and high five and kick ass and leave, like that's fine for some people, but you got to talk to people a little bit. Hey, what is your goal specifically? Like what is it that you specifically want to accomplish? And as you talk to people, it's mostly the same goal, right? I want to lose weight. I want to look good naked. I want to be stronger. I want to, whatever, right? Like, so, okay, we don't need to modify anything you're doing, but maybe we do need to modify something. Maybe someone's frustrated because they don't feel like they're progressing. They don't feel like they're ever going to get a ring muscle up, or they don't feel like they're losing weight, or they don't feel like, whatever it may be. So I think it's kind of just talking to people a little bit and seeing what it is they want. And before I taught 20-person CrossFit classes, I taught people one-on-one, and it was like, it's just you and I. We're going to focus on just you, and I'm going to talk to you about your diet, and you're going to bring me your diet log. And it was like old school, right? So I try to kind of maintain that personal touch, I guess, like with everyone, and it's like, if they're progressing and if they're not progressing, there's a good chance that they're not going to keep coming. So you want to make sure they're progressing. Well, what is the thing that's holding them back from progressing? It's usually their diet. So talk to them a little bit about their diet. Ask them how that's going. Some people don't want to talk about it, and that's fine too. Hey, we don't have to talk about your diet. If you don't want to lose weight, that's on you. Just come. Let's make you healthy. Let's make you get strong. Let's make you, build your endurance. And if at some point you want to focus on losing weight, we need to focus on your diet, and we'll help you with that when it gets to that point. But I think that's a big part of it. And just like I was saying earlier, just making sure you're not hurting people and crushing people, and tailoring it to their ability, and all that kind of ties in with the making sure that they're progressing. If you're beating the shit out of them and they can't move and their backs hurt all the time, like that's not good. You're doing something wrong. Like that, so you need to change the approach a little bit.
I maybe more specifically, there's this saying that people don't quit jobs, they quit people. Right. So when someone quits a job, it's not the job they didn't like, it's the people they didn't like. And even Don Fall, the new CEO of CrossFit, when I asked him why he left the Marine Corps, he said it was because the guy that he reported to was an asshole, just a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I used to like going to what I would do when I was in college is I would go to class and I would find someone that I wanted to meet. It was always a girl. And I didn't care if I ever met them. I used that to make sure that I would attend class so that I didn't cut class, especially early classes, right? Okay, I'm going to pick a pretty girl in the class. I'm just going to kind of fixate on her and make her like part of my world, right? Mm. I would think the same is like that for the gym. It's the same thing I used to, or when you have a job and you get there and your homeboy, like your homeboy Vince, right? Like, don't you you come to the gym and you see him there and you're like, yeah, it's like, there's a culture there.
No, sure.
Do you kind of see what I'm saying? Like you give yourself little rewards, you know what I'm saying? Like, or when you drive home and it's a long drive, I'll purposely drive by the beach so that it's a reward. I get to stare out at the ocean.
Yeah.
Do you do that? Do you make sure that it's a place? Do you have like rules about the culture or anything? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Like all the other stuff that I was saying, like, obviously if you have the greatest form and you coach people perfect, but you come in and you're a total dick, people don't want to stick around, even if you are a great, like, you are coaching, you're making them move perfectly, and you're getting their diet dialed in. But if you're a dick, then I mean, you got to be a dick to a certain extent because you got to keep it real with people. But when you're really when people don't like you, that's obviously going to be a problem. So, but I think you have to create a community. That's a big part of it. People come to the gym because they like the community, and that's a big reason why a lot of people come. They showed up for the fitness, but they stayed because of the community, because they like it. They like the other people that come there. They like the coaches. They like the vibe in there and the music and the whatever, and the diversity and whatever it is. But yeah, it's like you said earlier, you can't it's easy to quit a trainer. It's hard to commit to quit a relationship. So if you have a relationship with people, that's a little bit different. We try to do we do a couple parties, annually, a Christmas party and a pool party, and that kind of creates some outside of the gym camaraderie and some non-fitness related camaraderie, which is always fun, and people look forward to that, which is cool. But yeah, it's got to be fun, no matter how effective it is. If it's not fun, you're not gonna stick with it.
Do you do anything to promote outside? Do you do anything? Do you run ads or commercials or?
Not really. I mean,
it's all word of mouth. People bringing their homies in.
It's all word of mouth. Yeah.
And how often do you get a new client?
But there's new people in there almost every day.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, fitness is hard. I mean, we have good.
Will you just sorry to interrupt? Will you just, if you see someone new, will you just walk over to them and say hi to them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have like a little protocol. Like, you're gonna come in. We have a front desk girl. She's gonna set you up. She'll come out and introduce you to whoever's coaching. But
Oh, she does. So that's like nice. So she doesn't just say, okay, go get in that class. She walks you over there.
She'll walk you up and say, hey, this is so-and-so. This is the coach. So, I mean, people are really intimidated to get into a gym, and
yeah.
It seems, I mean, just, and I tell everyone this because a lot of, especially like, trainers or the front desk people, it's like, you're fit and you're comfortable here, and this is your shit. But sometimes when these people come in and they're asking stupid questions at the front desk, like, they might have been thinking about coming in here for months, for years, and today was the day that they finally built the courage up to actually come in and inquire about it. So it's like, you got to get them while they're here. Like, you can't be like, okay, well, just come back on Monday. It's like, no, you're here. We're gonna schedule an appointment. We're gonna get you nailed down. We're gonna get to cook them while the oven's hot. Like, you're here now. Let's make it happen. So that initial entry,
and no one gives a fuck if you're at the front desk and your boyfriend cheated on you. Like no one gives a fuck. Bury that shit until you're done with work.
Oh yeah, leave everything.
You're changing lives here.
Yeah, and that's our goal, is to change lives. But to get someone even past that, yeah, it's bring them in and introduce them and let them know who the coaches are. And if I'm not coaching that class, I'll try to personally go up, and I mean, I want to know everyone's name that trains at my gym, and I don't coach the early morning classes or the late afternoon classes. So there's definitely people that I'll see and be like, hey, how long you been coming? Like, oh, I've been coming for a year. And I'm like, fuck, but it is what it is. But
that's awesome.
I'm walking over and I want to make sure they know who I am, and I'm going to give them my cell phone number. Hey, you reach out anytime you got any questions, or just make them feel like, I mean,
your gym is so big that you could look across the gym and not know if someone's a boy or a girl, or they're black and white. And I'm not even joking. That fucking gym is huge. Yeah. Half the people in there are fucking silhouettes with my eyes.
Right.
Yeah. There's a comment here from Chase Ingram. Hey, Gabe, you remember when you, me, and Dave Castro owned Rich Froning and Sand Football at the L1 Trainer Summit? Good times.
I do remember that. And then someone took this like epic like sunset beach, like we were like coming out of the water. This like photo, it's pretty funny. It's like a
like a Chippendale moment.
Like a Chippendale moment, yeah. Like everyone's walking out of the ocean, like sunsets behind everyone, and like it's pretty epic. But yeah, I remember that. That was a great afternoon. What was that at? That was CrossFit Level 1. He was saying. I can't remember.
Looks
Yeah,
like
L1 Trainer Summit. Probably San Diego, right? Was that San Diego then?
San Diego, yeah. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was that or if it was like it was like before or after the games year or something like that. But yeah, that's right. That was the first year I was on.
Were the restrictions from 2020 to 2022 that were put on planet Earth, were those tough on you?
I mean, they're tough on everyone, right? But probably less on me, it seemed, than most people. I don't know. To me, I just kind of I just evaluated what I felt about it, and I didn't seem that scared or worried. It was just like, well, it sucks. It's just now there's another reason another way that you can die is really all it is. But we didn't close. We closed for the initial like 6 weeks, and then after that,
was that scary? That closure, 6 weeks?
For sure.
Like financially scary?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, obviously we took a hit, but a lot of the members kept their memberships. You know, we were kind of like, look, obviously we're closed. If you need to cancel your membership, it's all good. But if you can keep your membership and then, you know, later down the road when we reopen, we'll credit you back this month. That way we're not taking a huge hit all at once. That'd be easy. It'd be better for us. And most people were like, dudes, it's all good. Like, don't worry about it, you know. But, you know, after that month and a half, it was just kind of like, this is ridiculous. So we opened, and it was like, look, if we open and people start getting sick, then we'll close. But we opened and everyone was fine, and people got COVID and people were fine, you know? So, I mean, obviously it was a crazy and, you know, in the world, a lot of people were not fine. So who knows, but in our bubble and what we were doing and the people that were coming in, and, you know, it's funny because in that whole time, a lot of new people came in, a lot of big people. And I started this, it was called I don't know if you looked on the Instagram, it's called the Redirect program. I started that in 2020, like right before COVID. But I was like, fuck it, we started, we're doing this, you know? So, and it was basically like hey, I'm going to give 3 people a free 1-year membership to lose 100 pounds. And if they lose it, I'll give them a lifetime membership for free, you know, just to do something different and really do something. You know, it's really gratifying to help watch people lose weight and change their lives through fitness, you know. And it's sometimes weight loss. Sometimes people are like, man, I was suicidal before I came in here, and I never even knew it. But now they're 5 years later, like, I was suicidal before I came in, and crazy shit like that, right? So it's pretty gratifying when someone tells you that you had some play in their life pivoting for the better. So, but it was like, these people are paying me to do it, you know? So I was like, I want to do something where it's just like, it's just because it's the right thing to do. But obviously you got to run a business, you got to get paid. So it can't be a free show for everyone. But it was like, I want to find 3 people, 1-year membership for free. If you quit, you have to pay for the months that you used. If you make it and you lose 100 pounds, you get a lifetime membership, you know? So we were right in the middle of that. So it was like, fuck it, we're doing this. And they came and they all did it, and it was pretty cool. But
all 3 of them lost 100 pounds.
All 3, yeah. All 3.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, it was cool. And it was bittersweet because 2 of them at this point have probably gained it all back.
That's fine. That's fine. Hey man, it took me 50 times to quit smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Quit for a day, quit for a week, quit for a month. It's all, you got to make shots at it.
Yeah, they still did it. But the one of the kids was 13 when he started, 14 when he finished. And he is a fucking beast, and he's a whole new man. And I caught him early enough in his life to where this is it's totally changed the direction of his life. Like he's in the gym every day, just back squatted 225 the other day, you know. Wow. And, you know, it's crazy. I mean, and like his demeanor, his kind of insecurity, you know, I mean, I could barely get him to even talk to me for the first 6 months. You know, it was very like, just, you know, 1-word responses. And yeah, there's Wes right there.
Is this him?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Dude, he's a whole new kid.
Oh my goodness.
And it's crazy because he you know, he lost 100 pounds. Obviously, he's just way more confident, and he's got a community, and he's got a whole gym behind him, and everyone loves him, and everyone knows his story and his hard work, and everyone saw his struggle. And his mom started too. She lost, I think, 50 pounds, and she's a fucking beast now too. But
hey, if you did that for my kid, I would start crying. Like I would feel like I feel like I owe the good trainers my kids have my life already.
Dude, I want to cry right now.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. It's definitely cool to see him in there. And
how did you get him in there? How does an affiliate find, let's say if other affiliates want to do that, how do you find 3 people who are 100 pounds overweight who are willing to go on the journey? Just poach them out of Starbucks?
I mean, like the first one, no, it was like, you got to come to me. I'm not gonna, because this is gonna be hard, right? You got to lose 2 pounds a week for a year. Like, that's aggressive. Okay, so you got to find someone who's probably got more like 150 pounds to lose,
right?
And who also really wants to do it. So the first girl just came to the gym and was like ready to sign up, like right when I was about to pitch this program. So she was like, "Hey," so I pitched it to her. She was like, "I'm in. Let's do it."
What if she would have been like this, Gabe? I don't got 100 pounds to lose. What are you talking about, asshole?
Well, I would.
What if she just said that to you?
Oh, so I try to just keep it real with people without being a total. Yeah. That's where that to the dick, because you just got to be blunt with people sometimes, right? Like, hey, yeah, no, you do have.
You're a professional trainer. You can say anything you want about people's weight. I mean, that is the truth. You should feel comfortable. I would see Greg do that all the time.
Yeah,
walk up to some dude who's 400 pounds and be like, "Hey, dude, I need to get you into my gym." It's like, hey, like,
sure. Yeah. So she was in, and then the other 2 people, I just kind of put it out on Instagram that we were doing like tryouts for it, like, hey, come in, tell me your story. And like, I was getting people, but they just weren't like, I'm like, hey, I mean, you're 240 pounds. Like, you maybe have 100 pounds to lose, like getting you down to 140, which is your high school weight. That's going to be tough, and there's like, I mean, everyone deserves a shot, but then his mom, I don't know who put her onto it, but she called me or texted me, and we talked, and that was like, this is exactly what I want. This kid's young, he's insecure, he's having troubles, he's probably having a tough time at school, he's big, but the biggest thing is he's young, so I want to do it again. And I think if I do it again, I'm gonna try to do only high school kids or youth, because they haven't been, the other 2, I think, were in their 20s, and it's like, everyone deserves a shot, and you're never too late, but you're grown, you're like an adult now, like, this is your lifestyle, so it's a lot tougher to change that lifestyle, whereas at 13 you're barely a young person, like you're barely out of your kid stage. So if you change it now, then by the time you're 20, you've spent just as much time eating healthy as you have eating like shit, as far as you can remember. So
right,
your lifestyle change,
I can't believe you did that for a 13-year-old boy. How many days? So he would come to the gym 5 days a week?
Yeah.
5. And his mom would bring him?
Yeah, I think his grandparents would bring him. His mom would start to come, and she came at the 5 a.m. class, and then Wes would come to the 3 or 4 p.m. class.
Wow, she's a badass too for joining her son.
Yeah, and she she's the one that made it happen, right? Like, she was, they did that together, so she's the one. She's obviously feeding him, so she's the one that made it happen. So I was giving him the prescription of what to do and how to eat, but she did it. There was no hiccups. He was just on fire right out of the gate and just never missed a beat and just cruised right in. The other 2, there was a lot of like ups and downs and plateaus, and gain a little bit, then have a huge loss, and then it was all over the place, which was more typical of what I thought it would be. But they both did it. So, and so, which is still like, regardless of any weight they've gained back, like you say, at least they know they can do it. They have the recipe. They know what it feels like. And they both still have the lifetime membership. So we're here to help them the whole time,
The mom and the son, had they ever done CrossFit before?
I mean, the son definitely not. I don't think the mom had either.
Imagine what a fucking good mom that is. So she brings him in, And he starts his journey. And in the first 6 months, he basically doesn't say a word. And then now he's a chatty Cathy.
Yeah, I mean, he's still like he's reserved type of guy, but I mean, I don't think I ever saw him smile in the first 6 months. Like you could just tell it was like he felt out of place. You know, he's a big guy, and a lot of stuff was hard for him to move, and he was always last on the run. And you know, it's like, but as he started to get a little better and lose some weight, started to open up, and now it's like he knows everyone there, and everybody knows him. So, you know, he comes in, he knows everyone. It's like it's his spot, you know. So
yeah, he has ownership of the gym now.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's a 13-year-old kid there. Hey, there was this kid in my son's tennis program, and he's a big kid. He's 10 years old, and he was really big. And when they would, if anyone got in trouble, which they get in trouble, you know, you don't bring your pencil to tennis, or you don't listen, or you show up late. The whole team runs line sprints.
Sure.
And this kid, he would always come last in line sprints. And then after about a year, he started beating a bunch of the kids, including my kid. And he started leaning out. And I asked his parents, I go, hey, what's up with your kid? He's killing it, and he looks so much better. And they just put him in water polo. And I was like, yeah, of course. Why? Like, I mean, he's treading water fucking 2 hours every day.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, you just got to move, right? It's
yeah.
That, I mean, it should be more than that, right? Like you should squat and you should learn, and you know, balance of fitness and all that's important, but ultimately you need to just move and eat a little bit less. And if that's, you know, that's
but if you do put your kid into a fucking aggressive program, like a good CrossFit program, a water polo program, or a wrestling program, you're going to see change.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah.
I mean, hard shit.
Yeah. I think everyone should have to play. It should be like, you got to pick what sport you're going to play, like in high school, right? Like if you suck at it, it's okay, but get out there and do something, right? It's okay. It's okay to not be good at it. Not everyone's athletic, right? But it's like, got to at least try. That's his mom right there. So his mom lost 50 pounds too, which was really cool. And she's a freaking beast now.
Yeah, she looks great. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Nate Diaz, I saw a picture of him in your gym from, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Did you ever see him around town?
Yeah, he was actually just in the gym like a month ago. He started coming, like probably the most frequently that I've seen him in there. They came, him and his crew came for, so that was a while back. There's one, if you go on our Instagram on the gym one we just posted, he just came in, but so that was right after he fought McGregor the first time, and then he just started coming in. Him and his buddy started coming in, just like training crew. Like a month ago, they have one of his buddies has a boxing match. He's fighting on the undercard in the Silva. So the guy that Nate's left in the maroon shirt, Chris Avila, fighting on that Jake Paul Anderson Silva card.
Oh wow!
The boxing.
Wow.
Yeah. So he wanted to come in. Go ahead.
When he comes in there, do you train them?
Yeah. I mean, usually I'll work out with them if they can come to the time that I work out at, because it's just more fun. I've known Nate since we were really, really young, since like the high school days. So, you know, we would hang out back then kind of here and there. And then obviously him and Nick just took off and blew up in the UFC. And then Nate, especially since he got that McGregor fight, obviously, but yeah, they've been coming in a little bit and they like it. It's just hard to get them to do something consistent. I don't know that they have much routine, you know. It's just like they're going by their own routine, you know what I'm saying? So to get them to commit to like, hey, you're going to come Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something like that, it just ain't going to happen. If they're going to come, they're going to come, but they like it. They enjoy it.
Is it a scene when he comes in?
Yeah, that's kind of why. I mean, everyone wants to get a picture and get his autograph or whatever, you know. So that's why I think he likes to come when I work out, because there's no classes during that time. It's just a small handful of people, so it's like it's not a big spectacle. He can just kind of train.
Yeah, I would. I mean, he is really blown up. I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty crazy how he did it. He basically just he created it himself.
Oh, he did for sure.
Yeah.
He did. I mean, he was fighting a bunch of bullshit fights, and then he called out McGregor, and then just, you know, that whole thing unfolded, and he got in on the spot, and that was just nuts. And then he beat him, right? And then like people like Nate because he's just you know he just keeps it real, and people like that. And he's like he's a shit talker to a certain extent, but you know he's not like, you listen to McGregor talk, he's quick and he's got all this shit he's saying, and it's kind of entertaining. But Nate's just like a straight up street brawler that got really fucking good, and now that's his profession, you know.
And he I wonder if he's done.
I don't think he's done. I think he's going to do the McGregor 3, I think is going to happen. And then, you know, I think at this point he's made a lot of money. He's already, you know, he could probably give a shit about a title fight, but it's like, if you put him up, he probably just wants to do a couple more big fights and get a couple more big paydays, which at this point you can't blame him.
No, not at all. I'm really glad he didn't have to fight Khamzat. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to see him fight Ferguson. I mean,
yes,
he's a different animal, but it would have been interesting. I mean, Nate's got his style, right? And it's like those first couple rounds, he's just kind of, it's like Rocky IV every time he fights. He's taking the shots, he's getting busted open, you know, but no one can hang with his endurance, it seems like. And you know, if he can get that guy into the third, fourth round and he starts gassing out, he's got the tools to beat anybody. You know, it's just, he doesn't have that crazy explosive power like a lot of these guys have, but these guys go so explosive in the first couple of rounds. That's what happened to McGregor. It's what happened to McGregor both times he fought him, you know. He goes so explosive in those first rounds, and then they're just shot by the time they get 15 and 20 minutes in.
But Khamzat would, I don't think Khamzat's a 171.
No, that's small for him. I gotta go grab my phone.
I'm going to let you go in 1 second. I just want to show you one picture. Caleb's going to show you one picture.
Yeah.
Did you? Unfortunately, it's a little blurry. Look how, are you on? You're on using your cellular service, not your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Wow, what a great picture. It's crazy that the connection's that good.
Hey, sweetheart.
That's your house.
Yeah, that's the backyard. That was just the shop I was in right there.
Oh my God, your kids are living the dream.
Oh,
look, you got a little basketball court. You got 2 hoops.
Yeah, I freaking love it. There's I don't know if you can see my daughter over there. Hey, sweetheart.
Caleb, I'd pull it up, but since it's a new computer, it's telling me I can't.
It's not letting me do it either.
Okay. Gabe, thanks, brother, for coming on. Good to catch up.
Yeah.
Good to hear your affiliate stories.
Appreciate it.
Until our paths meet again, thanks for everything.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
My pleasure. Easy day. And the redirect program, fucking fantastic. I'm glad we got to hear about it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Appreciate it, man. Keep fighting the good fight.
Of course.
Yep, absolutely. We'll see you.
Okay, ciao.
All right, take care.
Yeah, I forget whenever you get a new computer and you want to share a screenshot, it says you have to reduce your security settings, and I hadn't done that.
Yeah, I haven't done that either, apparently.
Oh.
So.
All right. Man, he's cool as shit.
Super cool. That was dope.
The humility the mom had to have to change how her son was eating. Man, that's huge. Saved his life. There was something in here that Spiegel said about Marjorie Taylor Greene being batshit crazy. And when just on a side note, when that information, obviously I have 3 Jewish sons, and when that story came out that she said that Jews were burning forests, shooting lasers out of their eyes in California, I thought, well, that's interesting. Let me look that up. And I couldn't find any truth to that story. I even went to Newsweek. I used all the liberal publications to hunt down that story. And basically what it was is there are some experimental satellites that are up in space. I think that they might be owned by the Rothschild family, and they are they're some sort of satellites that can would be used to push energy around the planet instead of wires or something. I can't remember, but they're experimental satellites. And there were concerns, not by her, that during one of these experiments, one of these satellites misfired and started a forest fire in California. And that got turned to, and the Rothschilds are Jewish, and that got turned to her saying that Jews shoot lasers out of their eyes and started a forest fire.
That makes
So
sense.
yeah. So it's the same thing when they called Donald Trump racist for saying that Mexicans were rapists and killers. He was not saying that. He was saying that the people coming over the border from Mexico are probably not their best people and their finest scientists, but probably more likely people that they've let out of jail that they want to get out of their country. That the Mexicans were probably sending Syria. And these twists are it's a shame. It's a shame that people believe them too. So it's just good to just do a little bit of Spiegel, hi, there you are. Have you seen her talk about Peachtree Dish? No, I don't know what that is. But I do like the fact that she was so adamant. What was interesting is she was so adamant about using fitness to cure COVID or as a hedge against COVID, and I think things have changed. But Andrew Weinstein over at CrossFit Inc. released basically a press release denouncing her. And this is a guy who didn't do CrossFit, has never done CrossFit, who is if I had to choose what kind of animal he is, I would say a malnourished weasel. And he ran PR for CrossFit for a couple years. And it's amazing that while someone is talking about, I don't care if you're a flat earther, if you're saying that CrossFit builds a hedge, let it fly. It's honest. So, and I appreciate you saying this, Dallas, because I don't want to like Republicans. They got their issues. Their whole, I don't want to get into it, but right now, I do want to get into it, but not right now. But okay, Avi's so awesome though. I bet he can shoot. Yeah, well, some Jews can. Yes, that is correct.
But they're not going to start forest fires.
No. He's got the lasers under control. How about Noble's L1 knockoffs?
Somebody said that somebody just found a link for that. Like they use like the L1 trainers link. They're not actually selling them on the Noble website.
I think both. I think that it was supposed to be private. I think that accidentally it became public, and so that was that. I am no fan of Noble in the slightest. I think that they are a vile group of people who work over there. And I know that they pay the athletes a shitload of money, so the athletes are staying quiet. And I get that. I think that they have, from what I've seen, they're a confused bunch of virtue signaling woke people who've just spread hate around the planet in the name of not spreading hate. And they've supported some other companies by proxy, like Outwad, who in my opinion are doing things to hurt children. That's as gentle as I can say it. Anyway, that being said, CrossFit Inc. owns CrossFit, and with that came all of CrossFit's IP. That's all CrossFit is. You have to know that. And so they can put whatever they want on the t-shirts, just like you guys. Anyone could be upset if they're not giving attribution, etc. Like we're all free to think what we want. But at the end of the day, it was sold to CrossFit. I don't think Noble did any of that stuff without CrossFit's approval. Would it be nice if Noble were to be like, hey, we fucked up and all our policies have just led to more hatred and more violence, and we instead of reducing racism, we've insisted that it survive and we've nourished it and fed it, including sexism and homophobia and all that stuff, that they could realize that would be awesome. And that we apologize for being so negative towards Greg Glassman and fueling the fire as some outside corporate juggernaut who only gives a fuck about money. Yeah, that'd be cool if they said all that. I agree. And then if they said, hey, and in response to us making wrong decisions, we're going to sell this shirt and we're going to donate all the profits we make from this shirt, we're going to use to give people free L1s or send people to pay for their affiliate fees. Awesome. That would be great. That's not what happened. But at the end of the day, and so you guys might all be mad who know the whole story and know the truth. I get it. But that being said, they own that shit. Like CrossFit owns all of that stuff. And they're trying to figure out a way to get the message out to save people's lives and to make money. So that's where we're at. I don't really have a I haven't formed an opinion on it yet. I haven't fallen into a camp. Yeah, I own Zero Noble gear too. First, I think everything that they make is horrible. Of course, Rich Froning likes their shirts. He has a fucking impeccable body, but if your body has one tiny flaw, you're fucked. You look like fucking the Pillsbury Doughboy. And their shoes are completely unwearable. I really don't know how anyone wears their shoes. It is truly remarkable. Whenever
I had to wear them for when I worked events,
yeah,
it's fucking horrible. My feet were just destroyed. My back hurt. Just shitty.
It's almost like that they were prototypes that were like made at a brand new shoemaking plant. Like they hadn't dialed in how to make shoes. Like, okay, oh shit, all these shoes were made of cardboard. Okay, paint them funny colors and then we'll get them out. I mean, Rich likes any brand shirts because he never wears. That's a good point. He only wears his own shit. But it was pretty funny when Rich said they make the worst shoes ever. I have $50 gift card to Noble and don't know what to use it for.
Sell it for $100.
Oh, socks. Yeah, socks are cool. I like their joggers. Go fuck yourself.
Shut up.
Oh, Hiller, did we decide on a Hiller Fit review? I'm missing you, buddy. I'm so missing you. All right, great show. Crushed it again. I don't know if this is the shirt from Every Second Counts. The movie I made in 2008, the original CrossFit documentary. Can you see my back?
Yeah, you got a wide back. Yeah, there it is. Nice. Yeah, now we get the full shot. That's good.
Good. That's Pat Barber. I wore that just because Gabe was on the show today. He's old school. No, Bruce, I didn't say I miss you. I didn't. No. Oh, you're free tonight. I'm having Patrick Vellner on tonight, and we're trying to get someone to come on at 5:30 before Patrick too. No one wants to come on. All right. Well, there it is. Spiegel, 1999. Thanks, guys, for everyone for checking in. Spiegel has ended the show. Spiegel, they are so tight, anus crushing. Wow, of course they are. Of course they are. If you want everyone in the world to see your cock and balls and have your anus crushed, dress like Andrew Hiller. Okay, guys, I'll see you this evening with Pat Vellner. I've invited Brian Friend and J.R. Howell to join me, so it should be fun.